I would still hold the ultimatum, which is let's open up, maybe not to November 1st because that's too close. Like let's open up for 2 weeks, whatever it is. And if we don't have an agreement again, then we just go back to our fighting positions again, right?
At the end of the week, Washington empties out fast. Lawmakers, staffers, they're all heading home. But not before they stop here.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Punchbowl News Townhouse for another episode of Flyout Day.
We're back.
And this week we have Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona in the House at a critical time for Democrats in the Shutdown Showdown. We are on day 9, Jake, of the shutdown, and both sides are dug in.
Both sides are more dug in than Republicans expected and than Democrats expected. I would say Republicans did not anticipate Democrats could hold out this long. They thought clean CR Democrats would fold because they folded last time. They are not. They are not folding. And Chuck Schumer, who we sat down with yesterday, not in a Flyout Day capacity, but he is a part of the Flyout Day cast. He has been on the show, as is all the leaders. He told us that it gets better every day, something the White House... House Republican leaders, Senate Republican leaders are all seizing on. Mike Johnson's talking about it. John Thune had a poster with this quote on the floor, the Senate floor today. And Ruben Gallego is in the Senate Democratic Caucus and is part of the crew, the large crew that is voting against time and time again this CR to try to exact healthcare concessions out of the White House and out of House Republicans and Senate Republicans.
We are going to be talking to him about all that and more. And we have an all-star panel, Igor Bobic from HuffPost and our very own John Bresnahan of Punchbowl News in his 6th shutdown coverage capacity. We are going to get to all of that. But first, a quick word from our presenting sponsor, Meta.
Meta is investing in people and communities across the country. Meta recently announced a $600 billion commitment in the United States through 2028 with plans to develop next-generation AI technology, build infrastructure, and invest in workforce expansion. Because American progress starts with people.
All right, welcome to Flyout Day, our first member of the rank and file in either
It's an honor, dude.
Oh,
Ruben
wow.
Gallego, the Democratic senator from Arizona. Welcome.
I'm not sure that's actually a good thing. From my experience, if you're the first one he threw in the Marines, bad things happen.
We're not going to shoot you, so that's good.
All right.
We'll be kind. So this is day 9 of the government shutdown. Federal workers will miss a pay period tomorrow. Troops miss a pay day next Wednesday. Just setting the stage, 750,000 employees furloughed. Your newly elected colleague, Adelita Grijalva, has not been sworn in. Yesterday, you got into a back and forth with Speaker Mike Johnson outside of his office. Tell us what happened.
Well, first of all, Adelita was elected in a landslide, duly elected, right?
Blue district,
a landslide. And for the first time ever, and since Speaker Johnson's been speaker, he's coming up with all these reasons why she shouldn't be sworn in, right? Just 2 weeks ago, we sworn in this guy from Virginia, Democrat. And came in next day, boom, sworn in. Right? We swore in people from Florida, came in. Now all of a sudden, Adelita, duly elected, landslide, is not getting sworn in, and it's been quite a while. And he keeps changing the reasons, right? Oh, you got to wait for the certification. But the real reason is because she's going to be the 218th signature on the discharge petition for the Epstein files, right? Number one. Number two, right now in the middle of all of this, everyone needs to be represented. And Southern Arizona does not have someone to be representing them, especially when we're dealing with a shutdown. And he's keeping her off, keeping government closed, not through some grand strategy, but essentially just to continue to stop her from joining and being able to sign that Epstein list.
I don't quite understand it, to be honest with you. I don't understand why he's digging in so much, and and the Epstein petition. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and we could play armchair, or what? I guess this is an armchair pundit for a minute. It's kind of an armchair. And like, if the discharge passes, still has to get through the Senate. No guarantee there.
Yeah.
And the president has to sign it. It's not gonna be veto proof. So
It also just move the issue along.
I don't
instead of continuing to have this as a focus in the House.
I'm baffled by it. But let's switch gears quickly on some breaking news. Broke last night. President Trump says, and the Israelis say, Hamas says, all the regional partners say there's a ceasefire and hostage deal in the Middle East.
Let's hope that's true.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of it? What do you think?
I mean, I hope it's true. Like, this war has been awful. I mean, awful for the Israelis, awful for the Palestinians, awful for the hostages. It's been incredibly disruptive around the world too, in terms of our alliances. It's been, bad in terms of Israel's standing, with other countries. The humanitarian crisis because of Israel's policy in terms of letting aid in. Everything's bad. I hope this is true, and I hope it sticks. I don't care if Trump is the person that gets the credit for it or who gets credit for it, but this is a horrible situation. We should all want there to be peace, and there should be lasting peace.
All right.
Shutdown.
Because that is central to what we are covering every single day. Are you comfortable with the Democratic position here, which is basically government should only open if Republicans negotiate to extend the enhanced Obamacare premium tax credits?
So I've been very clear. Like, I'm fine with us negotiating a short-term opening if they want to do that in order for us to talk about the ACA tax credits, but it has to be between now and November 1st. Why November 1st? November 1st is an open enrollment.
It's October 9th, right? So not much time. Right?
Not much time. It's when open enrollment starts. That's when Americans, 24 million Americans, are going to have to go and decide what plan they're going to buy. If we do not take care of this before November 1st, the prices are going to be so high. You're going to see probably 4 million Americans just walk away saying, I can't afford this, right? Because, for some families, at least in Arizona, I know the staff for Arizona, a family of 4, the average price can get up to $4,400 more, almost doubling. So almost $8,000, right? So, it's not $4,000. It's going to be $8,000, $8,800 potentially for that family. That's $800 extra per month. A lot of people don't have that kind of money right now. And so if there is some kind of option out there where, Republicans, and I've told this to some senators, they want to reopen and we'll reopen till, October 30th or something like that, I'm absolutely fine with that. But it's to work on this and only this as well as to keep the government open, because the time is very, very difficult right now for not the politicians, but for the average American that's going to see their premiums just jump through the roof.
I'm gonna jump around on our list, Anna. Just a heads up to you, so you don't get confused. The ACA in Arizona, as you said, 200,000 working class people can see their premiums jump. A lot of these people are earning up to 400% of poverty. Do the Republicans have a point that these credits are too generous?
I think there is some negotiations though. I'm not under the illusion that we're just going to open up and we're going to get 100% of what we want. If they want to negotiate caps, they want to negotiate timing, everything else like that, that's absolutely something that we can talk about. And we're totally, and certainly at least because I think I'll be one of the swing votes in this, I'm absolutely open to having some real conversations about it. Now, the most important thing we have to do is we have to do it in a manner that does not increase premiums anyway, right? Because you have ridiculous jokester Lawler who wants to do a 1 year.
Like Lawler, you're talking about?
Wants to do a 1 year increase. I mean, he's doing that because he's going to lose his race, and this is a way for him to try to get out of it. But number two, it's just not realistic. You talk to people that deal in the insurance markets, they tell you if you do a 1 year extension, premiums are still going to stay high. So any negotiation that we do when it comes to this, and if there needs to be caps, there needs to be a sunset of or a cliff, whatever it is, we have to make sure that it doesn't still end up keeping the premiums high, or else, then none of this is worth it.
So you don't think a permanent extension of these is either, I'm not putting words in your mouth, I'm asking you, do you think a permanent extension of these credits is acceptable, is preferable or appropriate?
Of course it's preferable.
Right.
But am I going to get that? I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. But I'm also not going to.
The odds are not in your favor. Remember that one.
Yeah, it's a divided government. I get it. But I need to see that the premiums for everyday working Americans does not go through the roof through the inaction of Senate and the House.
So we were in a little bit of a different opinion about Democrats and whether you guys were actually going to go for the shutdown. I thought you might blink, or you do it for a couple days and then kind of reopen it. Democrats typically are for government, right? And you talk about Arizona, right? You're bleeding $300 million a week, mostly from delayed federal spending on goods and services, Grand Canyon's bracing for closure, maintenance and trash pickup halted, 150,000 Arizonans rely on WIC. Obviously, the administration has said they're going to maybe take care of that. But does it get more painful when you start having people miss paychecks, the troops miss their
Absolutely.
paychecks?
Of course it is.
At some point, or air traffic is already starting to feel that. Are we 48 hours from a kind of need to reopen this, or what's the timetable?
I think normally we would have been in the scenario where what happened in March where, we blinked. The problem is we know that we could get government back open. We know that people are going to get paid back. There's going to be temporary hurt. We know there's going to be permanent hurt to 24 million people when it comes to them being able to afford health insurance. Some people are just not going to do it. As I told you, we estimate about 4 million people, right? And we know that there's a short time period that we have to fight for them, right? We have to fight for them at a minimum up to November 1st, because if we don't change this, come November 1st and open enrollment, Americans are going to get shocked. Now, what I think is interesting is pretty soon a lot of them, and I don't know if you guys shop on the Obamacare market, but I do, and I have for my family for quite a while. So pretty soon there should be notices going out, depending on your state, about what your rates are going to be.
Yep.
There's going to be an absolute freak out when those notices go out, because the rates that they're going to quote are rates assuming that we don't do an affordable healthcare tax extension or provision.
Yep.
And I'm going to be very interested to see how some of these Republicans react when they have people calling them saying, like, what happened here? My rates are really going up, because this hasn't really hit in the minds of Americans yet. The shutdown's hitting right now. But when you start having to see that piece of paper, and then you have to go do your personal family calculation and figure out how you're going to make up for that loss, people are going to be really pissed. Really pissed.
So, I mean, it sounds like, okay, so let's take that out a little bit. So it's October 9th. 10th, we have civilian federal worker paychecks. 15th, we have military paychecks. There's some question about whether the administration is going to use OBBB money, great nickname, OBBB money in the Pentagon. They have $150 billion. Bres says, it would be logical just, on the merits. They have all this money. They could shift some around. Sure. Some Republicans and some Democrats have said they're fine with that. All the leaders have said that they're not going to put a bill on the floor at this point. I wonder, so you think the real pain comes November 1st with these notices. So this could go another 3 weeks.
Absolutely. This isn't just like a theoretical, policy position. We know what's going to happen on November 1st. We know that, right now the American family is hurting. Everything's too damn expensive. I don't know how many kids you have now, Jake.
3.
Have you been to okay, good. So you know what I'm dealing with when we go to that grocery store. And kids these days, they eat a lot of fruit. And have you noticed this?
I've had my fruit consumption go up.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. Like, I don't remember eating this much fruit. That's why I'm so short. But I don't remember eating this much fruit as a kid, right?
It's a different time.
But fruit's so damn expensive right now, right?
Yeah.
And we make good wages, so we could afford it, right? But fruit's expensive, food's expensive, car insurance is expensive, buying a car is expensive, right? And now we're about to add health insurance, not just, by the way, the people that are on the ACA. When we mess around with the ACA and the premiums jump, premiums even for non-ACA members, people that have insurance through their employers, is also going to go up, right? So we have to stay in this fight. This is something that is core to the identity of Democrats. And right now, our people are hurting, and we're not willing to just let them add more hurt to them by essentially putting on an insurance tax on them.
All right, we're going to shift gears in a second more broadly, but you are basically saying that you're willing to open the government and then have the negotiations happen until November 1st.
Yeah.
Your leadership has said they don't trust this administration. It's not a handshake. They can't have a,
I don't trust the administration either. That's a handshake. That's why I would still hold the ultimatum, which is let's open up, maybe not till November 1st because that's too close. Like, let's open up for 2 weeks, whatever it is. And if we don't have an agreement again, then we just go back to our fighting positions again, right? But I don't understand. I've already.
Are you making that argument to Chuck Schumer?
I've made the argument, yeah.
And what's his response?
Everyone has responses that we need to make sure that we have time to let the appropriators negotiate, and I think that we're getting there.
I just think that's a nonsense argument because
Which portion?
The appropriators negotiate thing, because that's not where the problem is. The appropriators will find a deal, and you know that. And this isn't in the appropriators' court. Like, this is a healthcare issue, which is Ways and Means, Senate Finance, Energy and Commerce, Help. I mean, this is a different issue.
I'm the new kid on the block, but
You've been here for 10 years, so I mean, I don't know.
On the block, but I agree, and I've had informal conversations with my Republican friends.
I saw that on the floor the other day. I mean, talk about that for a second. I mean,
sure, not just there, but other places.
Yeah, but they want to. There are a bunch of Senate Republicans who want to get something done. I think the flaw. I think Schumer's argument, and we talked to him yesterday. We wrote about it this morning. I mean, he seems to think that the pressure will build on Trump, and I'm reading between the lines, but this is obvious. And Trump will want to negotiate. I mean, him and Jeffries have said that the real roadblock is Johnson. I think Johnson is representing his conference, which I think 70% of the people don't want this done. Is Trump going to feel the pressure? I mean, he seems to be.
I don't know. So I think this ends up being a compromise that's designed by kind of a gang of Democrats and Republicans. Kind of what you did see on the floor, where we kind of got together and just started throwing ideas back and forth at each other. And now, we're having our little side conversations, and at dinners with our friends, or, kind of texting, everything else like that. I've heard the Johnson concern from some of our Republican colleagues, and we've been very clear with him, like, let's deal with us, right?
That's a good way to live.
And someone brought up Trump in that when you saw us on the huddle there, and like, well, we got to get Trump to approve this. I'm like, no. Let's get a deal here first. If we get a deal first, then we go get everybody else. But right now, we have to get approval from everyone else for us to even get to first base. We're never.
And that deal looks like to you, and I know Anna's going to kill me, but I just want to dig in on this last point. You think it looks like something like a 2-year deal with income caps and something in that shape?
I don't know what it looks like. What it looks like is it can't have this huge burden being put on the American voter, the taxpayer, with a premium increase. So if it's 2 years and premiums stay fine, if it's 3-4 years, and if there's caps here and there, but at least there's no massive premium increase, then that's what we work with. But we can't just throw out numbers. We need to actually sit down, work with CBO, work with kind of the experts around insurance markets, and come up with a real plan, and not just throw out a number, right? Like the Lawler law, if I want to call it that now, I think I'm going to coin that. It does nothing because it's just a 1-year deal that is not based on actual fixing the problem of insurance premiums.
Right, I hear you.
All right, we are getting the hook here. We're going to do a rapid fire.
That wasn't rapid fire?
This out.
No. This will get crazier.
All right, if you're ready. Is it time to get rid of the filibuster? You've been against it?
Oh, they already did it. The Republicans already got rid of the filibuster.
The only reason why you guys have any power right now is because it remains intact.
They already as soon as it becomes more and more in their favor, they will get rid of the filibuster. They've already started getting rid of the filibuster for different processes. So I think this thing is already done. It's going to happen.
And do you think, are you goading them into doing it on this?
I would never do that.
Yeah, okay.
All right, you've been to Iowa. You've been to New Hampshire. Are you running for president?
I've also been, did some events in Alaska digitally. I've been traveling the state. Everything is way too early to do anything.
Why go there if you're not?
First of all, I love corn.
Yeah.
Same.
And Pennsylvania, it's because I got invited. It's close. It actually worked with my family schedule. Look, the reason I go to a lot of places is also because I know how to talk to a base of voters that we've lost, working class people. And I have no problem going to any state if I have time, and it works with my calendar and my duties at home too, to go and talk to them and talk to Democrats about, bringing us back to a winning position.
And what is that winning position? That was our next rapid fire question. I mean, what's wrong with your party? I mean, everyone has an idea. What do you think is wrong with it?
Two things. Number one, we forgot how to win.
Yes.
And number two.
That seems evident. Yeah.
Yeah. And number two, because we forgot how to win, we aren't willing to do the things to win. Which means we have to have hard conversations, which means we have to have real conversations and not have these like professorial conversations about, and using words that just don't really meet reality. The base Democratic voter does not have a college degree. The base Democratic voter is making less than $60,000 a year. Yet we talk to as if that voter has a master's degree in sociology. That's just not the case. And and sometimes we do the opposite. We dumb it down and talk to them like they're stupid, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the base voter, and let's not even talk Democratic voter, is very smart. They take care of themselves and their family first, and we need to figure out how to do that. When we do that, and when we hit the mark on that, that's when we get those votes back. And that didn't happen last cycle. And even though Trump was totally off, the ledge, he was closer to where they were than we were, right?
For sure.
And they came out and voted.
Yep.
All right, last question. Biggest difference between the House and Senate?
Well, I know everybody. I know listeners. I do have real, authentic, relationships with Republican senators. We've been able to already get a couple of bills passed. Working, got a couple of housing bills that are attached to the bigger overall housing bill that I worked across the aisle with Republicans. There's a real working relationship, and it really helps. Now, it sucks when it gets to these kind of bigger things, but I think eventually those relationships will be helpful in terms of ending the shutdown. But it really is a bigger difference. I had some good relationships on the House side, largely to the Armed Services Committee.
Yep. But
it was very limited. Here you have time. You have, and the other person you work with, they're going to be there the next year, right? I know, I have it's probably going to get him primaried, but, I have a really good relationship with Jim Banks, right?
Yeah.
And Jim Banks and we work together, our families, care about each other, everything else like that. But I also know Jim Banks could be here for 6 years, right? So I can invest in a relationship with him. He can invest in a relationship with me too.
All right. Senator Ruben Gallego, thank you so much for joining us.
Gracias. Thank you.
Meta is investing in people and communities across America to lead the world in innovation and opportunity. Meta recently announced a $600 billion commitment in the United States through 2028, with plans to develop next-generation AI technology, build infrastructure, and invest in workforce expansion. This goes beyond technology. It means supporting new jobs, stronger local economies, and meaningful investment in communities nationwide. Because American progress starts with people.
All right, Jake, we are fortunate to be joined today by our co-founder, John Bresnahan, back again on the show, and HuffPost, Igor Bobic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We just had Senator Ruben Gallego talking a lot, going deep on shutdown politics, Obamacare subsidies. What was your top takeaway?
Yeah, we were talking about he doesn't see a quick end to this shutdown at all, which is...
I was shocked he said November 1st.
November 1st. Yep. And I think we were in the other room. We were like, oh my God.
Because it's October 9th.
Yeah. And then, but he also did say he is a swing vote, and he called himself a swing vote, that he's open to negotiations. He'd be support opening the government now if it's for negotiations. I don't see how you exactly keep it to that, but I thought that was newsworthy when him saying that in the way he'd said it. Yeah.
Igor, let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Brez. The highlight for me was him saying he wants to reopen. And I think he's not the only one. There are other people like Jeanne Shaheen who have been started talking to Republicans on the floor, private conversations, saying that we're okay with reopening, but we need something substantive. And I go back to, the 2018 shutdown of a couple days. What happened then? Then Republican leader McConnell promised to vote on the floor on immigration. And that kind of got everything flowing, got government reopened. There was a vote eventually. It didn't go anywhere, but at least, we kept moving along.
He's in a different spot than Democratic leadership has been. I mean, Schumer and Jeffries have been on the show saying we can't just have the promise of a negotiation and reopen the government. They want to have an actual concrete plan.
The difference here is, and you're right, the difference here is they are not looking to, they want an outcome. And a vote is not going to buy them off, because if it was as easy as that, there wouldn't be a shutdown. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Thune would be happy to have a vote on just a straight extension. I think he probably would if he needed to, if he thought it could unlock things. Yeah. But I keep saying this, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face, that this is not a popular policy in the House Republican Conference. And I know everyone is focused on MTG, and that is fine. She's interesting, and it's interesting that she is now for these subsidies. I get that. But On the same token, she is not emblematic of the conference writ large.
Yeah.
There is still, Brez thinks I'm underestimating
because
this.
they passed a debt limit bill. If Trump gets behind,
if Trump's
it,
for it, I'm with you.
For it,
Yes.
it's all
Trump's more to the Middle East.
Trump's
Yeah, I
for
mean,
it. Yeah, but he'll be back by Monday. I mean, and that's
He's taking on
I agree with you.
Antifa, okay?
I agree, but I agree with Brez here, Igor, and maybe you have a different view. Like, Trump is not dialed in. He does not. I think he wants to cut a deal. I think Johnson and Thune are saying we don't need to do this right now. We need time. We don't. We need a couple of weeks to get this together.
I'm not guaranteeing an outcome either.
But Brez's view is that if Trump wants a deal, they'll all fall in line, and I agree with that.
Yeah. I think ultimately Democrats know that they might not get everything that they want, but they also are going to get this fight ahead of the midterms next year. And that's kind of partially what they want also, to play this up for these elections that are coming up. And they know that some of these Republicans, frontliners, are vulnerable. Republicans are panicked about the House next year. That's why they're doing all this redistricting, right?
Yep.
And so they've got a huge issue on their hands. I don't think it's going away. Johnson's saying this is a December issue. He can say whatever he wants. This is going to come back and bite him.
I agree with you.
John, this is your 6th government shutdown.
You might say that there's a consistent theme here when Brez is around the government shutdown.
1990, 95. I was at the 95 shutdown.
But I have not covered as many of these as you have, but I've been around in 13, 18, 19. The tenor feels different to me in so much as the market's not crashing. All eyes, aren't on what's happening here, and every, waiting with bated breath. Does it feel different this time?
It does. And Jake hates me to say this because I think part of this is like the changing media landscape. No, I think this is one of the cases where like the death of regional newspapers, because these guys would be getting killed back home.
Yeah.
They would be getting killed. In 2013, there was just feel like everything was the end of the world.
Tense.
Right. It was the end of the world. I mean, Obama was in president, so he helped make it that way. And Trump, the frantic pace of the Trump era is like, one thing happens and then another thing, you're like, oh my God.
I would add to that also. This Senate is a shell of itself and what it used to be. And I don't want to be that guy like, oh, that's the poor Senate. But like all the deal makers are gone. And Romney's gone. Manchin's gone. Sinema's gone. These guys.
John McCain.
Yeah.
Right. Because the leadership in both chambers is way too powerful. The moderates have been driven out in both parties, especially Republicans, but in both parties, the moderates, there's no middle ground. There's very little, like we talk about Jeanne Shaheen and all these people in the middle, and they're good senators and they're good members. They don't have
There's no
the gangs aren't coming to save these guys.
That's why I kind of agree with Gallego that there might be a way that if you do something and then sell it to Trump, I don't know that works, to be honest with you.
Nobel Peace Prize. They should nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize.
If he gets
for a deal on the shutdown.
Very good.
That's
I like
how it's
that.
going to happen.
Here's one other thing that I'll say that Brez and we kind of touched on this morning is that Trump actually hasn't made this painful. Right? He's filling WIC with tariff money. He's not done layoffs.
He's canceled $27 billion worth of projects. It's a lot of people's jobs.
I agree with you, but
there's 750,000 people furloughed there, and now we have 1.3 million.
But the drastic cuts that they were talking about at the beginning,
we could see. We'll see it.
I thought they were going to drag out, furloughed federal workers, get them to the White House, say, we're having a tough time. They could still do that with military families. If they were smart, that's what I would do.
I don't know why they're done. They should be exploiting this. He's really not, because he has been distracted. He's fighting on immigration. He's trying to negotiate a Gaza peace plan. He's dealing with Ukraine. I mean, he put themselves in the middle of everything, everywhere. And this is what happens when you have a president who puts himself in the middle of everything. He can't do everything like this.
But he's also focusing on things where they think they can win. ICE, immigration, certainly in the Middle East, taking,
Absolutely.
Whereas the shutdown politics is a lot more difficult.
Shutdown politics is a lot more difficult because you have to argue. The people who tried to doge government have to argue how important government is now. You see the cabinet officials talk about. I do think the air traffic control.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, we wrote in this also. The thing about a shutdown is cumulative. It builds up.
Yeah.
People don't realize how important government is until it's not there, and then but day by day it'll get worse.
All right, we are going to shift a little bit back by popular demand, i.e. Anna likes to do the segment.
Let's do it.
We're going to go into That's Not Going to Fly. What are you covering, Igor, this week that just isn't passing the smell test?
Here's what's not going to fly, and what's already crashing and burning is what Russ Vought has been doing. These threats to lay off furloughed federal workers, to do all these rifts, that's really extremely backfiring on the Hill, not with Democrats, but with Republicans. If Tom Tillis saying this is terrible strategy, this is not a good message to send. Jeanne Shaheen, I asked her about this. She's one of the Democrats who ostensibly they need a flip on this. She essentially said, shut the hell up. I mean, she said Russ Vought needs to stop talking because this is making things harder. So this thing is not going to work.
All right, Brez.
I think we talked about this a lot. The House Republicans not being here. This is Jake and I have been obsessed with this. We've been like, it's a bad strategy. The thing is, I had members say to me, I had very senior House Republicans say to me yesterday that Mike Johnson's made himself the face of the shutdown. And that's a problem. And it is a good point.
He was on C-SPAN taking calls.
I think this is he's made himself a national figure with this in a way that he hadn't before. And I think this is this could be a dangerous spot for him politically. I'm not talking about, he's made himself the face of the shutdown. And what does that mean for Republicans?
I don't think him walking out into that Gallego Kelly presser, I don't think that was a good idea. I wouldn't have been as big news.
It was so not like Mike Johnson, too. The nicest guy. Mike Johnson's he's very
personable.
He's a very decent guy. And him to argue
could you see Nancy Pelosi, John Boehner, Paul Ryan doing that?
They would have called him in his office.
Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy 100%. He would have Kevin McCarthy 100%.
All right, Jake, you got one?
Yeah, I think this whole I'm gonna dovetail off of what Igor said. I think this whole screaming in the hallways thing is just goofball central, to be honest with you. And I understand, let me say this first. I understand the point Mike Lawler was trying to make, which is, here's my bill, which, by the way, doesn't have support from the House Republican leadership, the Senate Republican leadership, or anybody. Why doesn't Hakeem Jeffries sign on to it? There's a little bit of a New York back and forth between Jeffries and Lawler. Jeffries is trying to defeat Lawler and is spending millions of dollars, so I get the whole thing. But guys, let's
your members of Congress act that way.
As Brett says, decaf.
I'm a Senate guy. Please keep the House. Don't bring him back.
No,
nobody wants to see.
I need him back.
No, they're paid to be here.
20 days.
They're members of Congress. How would you be like?
They're children.
Home? They're members of Congress, for God's sake. They should be here doing if they were here, maybe it changes the atmosphere and it breaks the law.
I agree.
That's why.
I think it feels. The other thing, and then we'll go real quick out of this, but that's not going to fly is the not paying back pay. Even Hudson, we had Richard Hudson on this morning, and he was like, it's not. It's terrible politics.
It's not terrible politics. It's like it's wrong. It's un-American.
I asked Johnson this the other day. I said, he kind of dodged it. And I said, as a matter of principle, do you believe these people should be paid? And he's like, yes, I do. So even the people who are saying it's in the mix say it's not tenable.
All right, Igor, Brez, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
That was very fun.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, that was a lot of fun this week.
God, we need to have Igor and Brez on every week and just we should just do a cage match, but it was fun. It was really good. That's the kind of conversation we need to have on here. It's just it's fun. It's lively.
Yeah, we agree, we disagree. And Senator Ruben Gallego, very detailed. I think the biggest thing to me was, and we talked a lot about this, but is November 1st. Also the willingness to negotiate.
Dude, we are October 9th right now. If this goes until November 1st, you could have the House. Johnson's going to have to bring the House back at some point. But it is possible that Trump doesn't even really get dialed in until then. So, I get it. I get the whole thing.
I think we're all, the kind of elephant in the room is, where is Donald Trump?
Yeah, get in the game.
Because he is what actually moves Republicans and has this entire Congress.
And he understands more than anything the poll numbers. I had a senator say it to me yesterday, a Democratic senator, say Trump, obviously Democrats don't agree with him, but he understands poll numbers, public sentiment, probably as well as anybody, especially. And I've seen polls that have a vast majority of Republicans wanting these credits extended. So, I think it's time. I think a lot of people think for Trump to get in the game here.
All right. We have a question for you, our viewers. We've had all 4 congressional leaders. We've had the White House with Kevin Hassett, and now we had our first rank and file senator on. Who do you want to see? Who should we chat with next week? Send us an email, Anna@punchbowl.news.
Jake@punchbowl.news.
with that, have a great day and stay safe, everybody.
Thanks for watching Flyout Day, people.
the whole notebook.
There's only one more